Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So I was reading a lot of reports yesterday in regards to Patrick Emerick Aubameyang, and this is actually stemming from Andy Goldstein, who was a presenter of TalkSport. He said Manchester United are interested in Patrick Emerick Aubameyang from Arsenal, and he also said we are preparing an audacious move for him, and we are preparing to pay up to £70 million for his services. I think it's very unlikely that Aubameyang will come to Manchester United, but I was reading a lot of reports yesterday saying that Manchester United of course were in for him, and obviously we are seeing him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because obviously it's looking very imminent like Lukaku of course is going to be leaving the football club, and obviously we do need someone that can come in and score us them goals, lead the lines and all that, and because obviously last season wasn't scoring enough goals, wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal, wasn't creative enough in the attacking third of the pitch. But I do really like Patrick Emerick Aubameyang a lot. I obviously especially liked him during his Borussia Dortmund days. Obviously Arsenal got him in January of last year. I think Arsenal paid around £56 million for him. I think he has got 2 years left on his contract with Arsenal, and he's age 30 now. He's Patrick Emerick Aubameyang, so he is aging up. So probably maybe the vast majority of Manchester United fans wouldn't like to see Aubameyang come in. Aubameyang is primarily a striker. I think he can also play as a wide forward, so he can play on the left, he can play on the right, but he is predominantly a striker as Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. So it reportedly said yesterday that Manchester United were in for him. Obviously last season I think he scored 22 goals in 36 games in the Premier League for Arsenal. I think he was a Premier League's joint top goal scorer alongside Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane. So I would like Aubameyang, if we did get the opportunity to get him. I think he's also been previously linked with move to China as a Aubameyang. I think China as a Aubameyang. I think quite a few Chinese clubs have showed their interest in him and all that. But I don't know, he could actually remain at Arsenal. He could sign a new contract with Arsenal, but he has got currently 2 years left on his current deal at the moment. But yeah, he's been at Arsenal since January of last year. But Manchester United and Arsenal have done business in the past, as you all know. Obviously we got Sanchez in January of last year. Obviously he was involved in a swap deal with Mkhitaryan. Obviously we got Robin van Persie back in 2012 off them. So if we were to get Aubameyang, it would be a similar deal, to the Robin van Persie one. Obviously, you could say Robin van Persie, won as a league back in 2013. Obviously, with amount of goals and that he scored, and obviously, that was won the league back in 2013, and that was actually Alex Ferguson's last season. Of course, I think obviously Arsenal got Danny Welbeck from us. Was it back in 2014 or 2015? If I can remember rightly. So Manchester United and Arsenal have done business over the years, but I don't see us currently getting Aubameyang, to be quite honest. But we are preparing to pay £70 million for him, and that's quite a lot of money, to say that he's 30 years of age, but he can score goals. His finishing's very, very good. His movement's really, really good. He's good on and off the ball, very good in the air. So I think he would be the right solution to Manchester United. But I don't think there's a lot of credibility in this, to be quite honest with you. But like I said, this is stemming from Andy Goldstein, of course, who is the presenter of TalkSport. But I don't see, Aubameyang coming in. But like I said, we do need a striker, because obviously it's looking like, like Lukaku, of course, is going to be leaving the football club. Obviously, Lukaku has been heavily linked with a move to Inter Milan, and I think everything initially has been agreed, to be quite honest with you. Apart from the fee, I think they are still negotiating on a fee and all that. Obviously, reports came out the other week saying that we want at least around £62 million for him. I think it came out 2 or 3 weeks ago saying that we wanted around £80 million for Lukaku. So basically, either way, we're looking to recruit the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, because obviously we got him for £75 million. Obviously there was initial several add-ons included in the deal, which had risen it to £90 million. Obviously he's got 3 years left on his contract, and I think Lukaku is on about 250 grand a week. But from Lukaku's preference, he does want to make the move to Inter Milan, because obviously he surfaced 2 requirements at Manchester United. Obviously we do know Rashford is first choice ahead of him and that, and like I said, Rashford at the moment he's not got to that level yet, where he currently wants to be, and it's going to take him a couple of years, to emulate to that level, and I don't think he's, reliable enough as yet, to deliver them goals and all that. So it's very imperative if Lukaku leaves, that we do get a replacement for him and all that. So we have basically put a huge transfer, for him on Romelu Lukaku, and I did say that could possibly, be a stumbling block of him making his move to Inter Milan. But yeah, we do want at least around £62 million for him, but he is service to requirements at the club. Obviously, Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford and all that. But like I said, he's been here 2 seasons. He scored, I think, how many goals? Is it about 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions? He scored. I think he scored about 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions in his 2-year period here. Obviously, he did well in his first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season. Of course, Romelu Lukaku. So I do believe he's going to be leaving the club. But I think everything's been agreed. I think Inter Milan have agreed the personal terms. Obviously, I think that means he could earn around 6.6 million in bonuses. I think he's allegedly agreed around a 5-year deal and that. Inter Milan, of course, are willing to meet his wage demand. So obviously, they still need to come to an agreement on a fee and all that. I think, obviously, Lukaku wants to play under Antonio Conte because he recently said about Antonio Conte, he wants to, he said he basically wants to play under him and basically said, he described him as one of the best managers in the world. And obviously, Antonio Conte has identified Lukaku as his number one target because obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago, Antonio Conte, wanted Romelu Lukaku. This was obviously, when he was Chelsea manager, obviously he won the Premier League in his first season. That with Chelsea, also won the FA Cup with Chelsea. But obviously, he wanted Lukaku back in 2017. But obviously, he ended up making the move to Manchester United. But basically, yeah, so no fee has been agreed as yet. So nothing has been fully finalised. But Lukaku's agent, had revealed a while back, that his future is very open. But I think Manchester United told Lukaku a couple of weeks ago, that he can't leave the club. But I think Inter Milan do need to raise around £40 million by the end of this month, to meet financial fair play regulation. They'd also say that could be another stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. But I don't think Inter Milan are willing to meet what we are currently demanding. So obviously, recently Inter Milan have offered Icardi in exchange for Romelu Lukaku as part of a swap deal for Lukaku. But Manchester United have turned this down because I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing him in. Obviously, reports came out, was it last week, if I can remember rightly, saying that Inter Milan had offered us Ivan Perisic, plus cash, in exchange for Romelu Lukaku. But obviously, we do know that Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. He was a long-term target under Mourinho, but obviously now he's no longer a Manchester United target, so we didn't go along with that. I think if we was willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, I think we want Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar. But obviously, Inter Milan, I think, are reluctant, to sell Milan Skriniar. Obviously, he's been Inter Milan a couple of seasons. Obviously, he's just recently signed a new contract over Inter Milan, so I don't see, potentially, Inter Milan willing to, let Milan Skriniar go for them, to currently get Romelu Lukaku and all that. But yeah, I do believe he's, he's going to be probably, leaving the club, probably in Milan at some point, going to come to some kind of agreement there with Manchester United and all that. But I think, was it 3 weeks ago that Lukaku was in Italy? He held negotiation with Inter Milan's representatives over coming to an agreement on a deal and all that. So I do believe everything's been agreed, but the actual, initial fee. But I've got strong reservations about Lukaku. He's too inconsistent. He's not really good. He's not really good in the air. He's a big game bottle. He hasn't got that endless potential. But his ratio is still very good in the Premier League, and his pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League because he has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League as Lukaku. But I think it would be beneficial if we get rid of him. Spending spree £200 million. But obviously, if we do sell Lukaku, if we do sell Pogba, it's going to mount up to a lot more than that. And like I said, it will help us with our rebuilding process, and of course, it will help us with our transition. But there's been quite a few, strikers on our agenda because I do believe we need attacking reinforcements and all that. But there has been quite a few on our agenda. So recently, Aubameyang's been on it. Obviously, Paul Dybala, of course, has obviously been on our agenda. Obviously, there's been talks about Mario Icardi. So who would you bring in, to replace Romelu Lukaku? I'd like Aubameyang. I have got reservations about it because he is aging up and all that, and I just don't see this deal, happening anywhere. Even though Andy Goldstein, did say Manchester United are currently interested. And that's a surprise, to be quite honest. It's a huge surprise that Manchester United, would have been in for Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. But I think if he does leave Arsenal, I think he'll probably end up making the move to the Chinese Super League. If I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, as I updated you earlier on as well on my previous video, good news has come out in regards to Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, this came out yesterday. The headlines got broken out yesterday saying that reportedly Manchester United have agreed a world record fee with Crystal Palace for Wan-Bissaka, and I think the fee is around £55 million that has been agreed. Obviously, this will make him the most expensive fullback in world football. But this is very, very good news because obviously we do know he's been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets, and he has been on our agenda, for quite some time and all that. Obviously, he's very, very young, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to restore our original philosophy. I think he said this back in May that he wants to restore our original philosophy of developing young players instead of buying ready-made stars. So a lot of people have said, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, but Solskjaer, wants to recommend a number of young players to come in. And Wan-Bissaka is going to fit that bill perfectly. He's only 21 years of age, plus he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer. So reportedly we have agreed around the £55 million fee, but obviously, we're held more extensive talks, with Crystal Palace since like the weekend and all that, over coming to an agreement on a fee for Wan-Bissaka and all that. But recently, we've had 2 bids turned down for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, we had a £40 million bid turned down for him. Obviously, that was the first bid. We had turned down £40 million. Then we come up with a second bid. Then we had a £50 million bid turned down for him. We didn't offer £50 million up front. We'd offered 35 million up front. We'd offered 35 million up front. With 15 million in bonuses, which and all that. But obviously, Crystal Palace, we're not happy, with the structure of the offer. So it did basically say, they want around 50 million pounds up front. But initially, Crystal Palace rated him at around 55 or 60 million. But Wan-Bissaka has blatantly made it clear to Crystal Palace that he does want to join Manchester United this summer, because obviously, Wan-Bissaka, wants to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But I do believe he'd be the right solution for Manchester United. He is predominantly a right back. Obviously, has been in Crystal Palace's senior squad, since February of last year, and obviously established himself as a first team regular, last season for Crystal Palace, and I think he's made about 42 senior appearances. He has still got 3 years left on his contract with Palace, but I think he's been a Palace player, since the age of 11. Graduated from their youth system. Was initially an out-and-out. He was an out-and-out winner when he was younger, but as he was developing and that, he got rotated as a right back. And I think reflecting on his impressive performances last season, I think he got he won Palace's Player of the Year. But I do believe he'd be fantastic for us, because we do need defensive reinforcements, as you all know. Because obviously, we've got issues defensively, and that was proven last season because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. And obviously, like I said, we need to see vast improvements, of course, going on into this season. But obviously, like I currently said, we've got our first sign on the board through Daniel James. Obviously, it's our first sign under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer here, and that is very, very cheap. What we paid for Daniel James compared, to what we've paid for in recent years. Obviously, compared to what we paid for the likes of Lukaku, 75 million, Paul Pogba, 89 million pounds. You could say Daniel James is much very, very cheap, of course. But Solskjaer will want to build on this. We want to bring another 4 or 5 more players in to Manchester United. So looking at it, ultimately, Wan-Bissaka would actually be our second signing this summer. But like I said, we need a replacement for Antonio Valencia, because obviously he's left the club after a decade. Obviously, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young, and we need a cover up for Diego Dalot, because like I said, we only got Diego Dalot last summer. I think we paid, was it around 20 million pounds for him, but Diego Dalot, of course, is too inexperienced at the moment, and obviously he's the upcoming future. But I think Wan-Bissaka, would be fantastic, so I do believe he's our top priority. But there's been a few right backs on our agenda, and like I said earlier on my previous video, reportedly now we are in for Max Aarons. So basically, we're seeing Max Aarons from Norwich as an alternative, to Wan-Bissaka. So if we can't get the deal fully finalised for Wan-Bissaka, I think we're planning, to go in for Max Aarons. I think Norwich, of course, are reluctant to sell him. He's only 19 years of age. He's primarily a right back. He can also play as a left back, but he's actually primarily a right back. Obviously, it was only his first season in the senior squad with Norwich last season. I think it was. Yeah, it was his first season in the senior squad last season. Obviously, he joined Norwich's youth academy in 2016. Spent a couple of years in their youth system, and then obviously broke into their first team last year. Of course, he's Max Aarons. I think he actually began his career with Luton. But obviously, Max Aarons played about 43 games for Norwich last season. Of course, won the championship with them. But we do put Max Aarons, I think, if I'm right, signed a new long-term contract in October of last year, and I think he signed a 5-year deal, so he's under contract with Norwich until 2023. It also says that Palace have been in for him, because obviously Crystal Palace obviously going to want a replacement for Wan-Bissaka, of course, if he does leave. So I do believe that Max Aarons is on Crystal Palace's agenda. But yeah, he's been spoken about. So basically, looking at it from the financial point of view, though, he would be a cheaper solution, than Wan-Bissaka. He'd substantially cost us less than Wan-Bissaka and all that. But I just don't think Norwich are willing, to currently offload the player. So we are seeing Max Aarons as the alternative, to Wan-Bissaka. And yeah, so he's obviously been spoken about. Only 19 years of age, so he's actually 2 years younger than Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Munier's been on our agenda, and obviously Munier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Wan-Bissaka, because obviously it came out quite a few weeks back saying PSG want around £25 million for him, and that's a reasonable figure. That is definitely a reasonable figure. Munier's in the final year of his contract. I think he's been a Manchester United fan since he was a child, and that's why it came out the other week saying that Meunier, wants to make the move to Manchester United, but he's an experienced fullback. He's 27. He is predominantly a right back. He can play in other positions, but predominantly a right back. He's still got quite a lot of development in him. I'd still say he's got at least 3 or 4 years left in him as Thomas Meunier. Obviously, I think if he did come to the Premier League, I think he'd have all the attributes to succeed in the Premier League. I think he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League and all that. But obviously, he hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. He's been at PSG 3 years. Obviously, he is surplus to requirements now at PSG. This is probably one of the main factor reasons why he's been linked to a move away from PSG. But obviously, it has been Manchester United and Arsenal that have inquired about his services and all that. So obviously, he's been on our agenda. But yeah, we definitely need a right back. But I do believe going on into next season, I think our expectations will be to probably finish in the top 4. Maybe in the Europa League, maybe even win the Carabao Cup and all that. I think it's going to be hard for us to get our number 1 targets this summer because we're not in Champions League football for next season. And like I said, Champions League football is always very pivotal, when you do want to get your number 1 targets. But Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of last season, he still believes that we can attract players to the highest level even though we're not in Champions League football. He also said towards the back end of last season that he had been contacted by a number of agents, saying that, their players want to come to Manchester United and all that. But I'd probably give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least another year maybe another year or maybe even 2 years, to see how it works out and all that, because I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. I don't want us to currently sack him, even if it does go wrong at the beginning of next season. I think maybe should give him at least a year to see what happens, because we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, because obviously we've already sacked 3 managers, of course, since Alex Ferguson retired. But we do know that we are a toxic club at the moment. We have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously, we do know since Ferguson retired we've had different managers with different philosophies. A hell of a lot of money has been spent, but we have been underachieving for the last 5 or 6 years, which is very, very disappointing. But I do believe anyway, at least in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be that top 4. I think we're a number of years off from mounting any kind of title challenge up. Obviously, we haven't won the league since 2013. Obviously, we haven't won a trophy for the last couple of seasons and all that. But I just want us back, to get. I just want us to back. I just want to be back, for us, to be a competitive elite level football club and all. And like I said, regardless of who our manager is, no one's going to ever, follow Alex Ferguson's philosophy. Solskjaer does follow Alex Ferguson's philosophy, but what I'm saying is no one's going to follow Ferguson's legacy. No one's going to ever achieve. We're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson and all that. Regardless of who our manager is. But Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Ferguson. So I do really, really like it. I love him. I absolutely love him, should I say. And but he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, so he hasn't really got that managerial experience. That's something that does concern me a bit, especially not to the highest level. But hopefully, he can elevate Manchester United forward. People have said if we can get the right players in this summer, or if we get the right players in this summer, they do believe going into next season we can win the league, maybe challenge for the league. But I do not see that happening, because obviously at the moment City strides ahead of us. Liverpool, of course, are strides ahead of us, and yeah, it's very imperative, that we catch up like City and Liverpool. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's obviously, wants to build a squad worthy of the club's history. He wants to bring players in who he thinks are going to fit the culture and that of the club, because obviously there is cultural problems at the moment, and he just wants to fulfil them areas, where obviously, Manchester United are lacking. So he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Like I said, if in regards to the director of football, I'm very disappointed that we're not expected to appoint a sporting director in, and I'm frustrated about this, to be quite honest. We're very frustrated, because like I said, that is a structural change that we did need at the club, is getting a director of football in. But now we're not expected to appoint a sporting director in, but we tried getting one in at least for the last 2 to 3 months, because obviously so many names were linked to that director as well. So obviously we're going to be sticking with the same structure, and obviously it's going to be Ed Woodward that's overseeing our summer transfer business this summer and all that. But like I said, we needed to get one, because we needed to get a director of football in, because obviously I said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needed back in this summer. But he is still in the process of rebuilding. The only player that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's is Daniel James, but the rest of the squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, is it? He's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. Obviously, there's players here from Van Gaal, there's Matty from the David Moyes where he's inheriting, and obviously he's still inheriting 4 or 5 of Alex Ferguson's players and all that. But like I said, I hope it does work out for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And yeah, I do love him a lot. But like I said, Wan-Bissaka would be a fantastic signing, for the club and all that. I think it'd improve us defensively. His defensive capabilities are very, very good. So hopefully, we can, get him in. So we have agreed a £55 million fee, but it's not being fully finalised as yet. Obviously, as I have been updating you on a regular basis as well with in regards to Paul Pogba. Obviously, I would say now it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Manchester United. Obviously, he's confirmed that he doesn't want to be at the club. We do know he's been relentlessly, linked to a move to Real Madrid. He's also been relentlessly, linked to a move to Juventus as Paul Pogba. But I read in some reports yesterday, and it did basically say that Manchester United are set to hand Paul Pogba a loyalty bonus. I think worth around almost £4 million. I think Paul Pogba is set to be handed this payment at the beginning of next month. It also says, I think, we've offered Paul Pogba a long-term contract worth £500,000 a week, £500,000 a week, to convince him to remain at the football club. Obviously, Paul Pogba in his current deal at the moment is obviously, I think in his current deal he's got 2 years left on his current deal with an option to extend for the further year, and I think he's on about £290,000 a week at the moment in his current deal. So if he was to, accept this £500,000 a week offer, obviously, he would get a massive pay rise in his current wages and all that. So I think it'd be like a £200,000 pay rise. That Paul Pogba, would be getting. But obviously, Paul Pogba confirmed on Sunday, he told Tokyo reporters, that he's seeking for the new challenge. He said he wants to leave Manchester United, and he publicly, admitted this for the first time. But basically, it did say Paul Pogba was even willing to go on strike, to force through a move from Manchester United to Real Madrid. And initially, it did say he was going to put a transfer request in. He said if that didn't work, he was, of course, willing to go on strike. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can to try and convince him to remain at the football club, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is, even though he hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he currently would have been. But yeah, it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan, to actually build a squad, build a side around Paul Pogba. But yeah, so we basically said, he's not for sale, but I think we would accept a bid in the region of around £150 million. So this is what basically we are demanding. But I think Real Madrid are reluctant, to meet that. I think is for a long time, Real Madrid has been his first choice preference. But I think now recent reports are saying that he would prefer the move back to Turin and all that. But it's been looking very likely, for a long time now, that his likely destination is going to be Real Madrid. But I've reading reports today. It does basically say that Juventus are willing to offer Douglas Costa as part of the deal for Paul Pogba. Because, like I said, probably and plus cash. But like I said, Juventus would probably have to offload at least one or two of their essential players, to be able to fund the move for Paul Pogba. Because I think, I don't think Juventus would be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. Reports reflected out a couple of weeks ago saying that that Juventus are interested in re-signing him. They've also been in negotiations with his agent Raiola. Obviously, Paul Pogba's agent Raiola, I think he had a ban, but I think now his worldwide ban has been lifted. I don't think it really provided the reason why he got the ban in the first place. I think he got a ban, from conducting any transfers in Italy, and I think it went to a worldwide ban. But I think now this worldwide ban has been currently lifted, so now Paul Pogba can make the return back to Turin and all that. And Juventus, I think last week Juventus travelled to London, to have negotiations with us over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. So they have been in negotiations with Manchester United. So I said he could be open to making the return back to Turin, because obviously he did have 4 good years in Turin. He exceeded expectation levels, played really, really well, but hasn't really replicated this form, since he did make the return back to Old Trafford. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, I'm our most expensive signing. But like I said, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. And, we've got a history of spending big on players. We've invested a hell of a lot of money, over the years, since Alex Ferguson retired. We spent big money in recent years. Pogba £89 million, Lukaku £75 million. Like I said, you can get the best players in the world. If they're not playing as a unit and they're not playing as a team, of course, it isn't going to currently work out for you. And there is a prime example. But yeah, so it could be open, to making the return back to Turin and all that. Obviously, we do know still that Real Madrid are in there for Paul Pogba. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of the player. Obviously, Real Madrid have got 5 players so far on the board this summer, but they'll want to prioritise now a transfer for Paul Pogba. But initially, we want £150 million. Basically, Basically, I think it came out the other week saying that Real Madrid, were willing to offer Gareth Bale, in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba and all that. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that we was in for Bale. Obviously, Bale's been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford since 2013, and the rumours have continued to persist there since then. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that we wanted Bale on loan. We inquired about getting him on loan, and that he said we were happy, to pay his wages off and all that. And it said we wanted to get Gareth Bale on a long-season loan with an option to extend it for a further year, so it was initially a 2-season loan and all that, but I haven't heard much more about that quite recently. I read up about that last week, saying that we wanted to get Bale on loan, but like I said, I wouldn't want Bale at Manchester United because he's too inconsistent now, he's too injury prone, plus he's aging up and all that, and obviously Real Madrid don't want him. Obviously Zinedine Zidane's confirmed there's no future at the club. Zinedine Zidane said he's no longer in his plans at Real Madrid, but I think from Bale's perspective, he actually doesn't want to leave Real Madrid. I think his agent came out, Bale's agent came out and actually said he will not be getting offloaded. He will not go out on loan. So I don't think. Well, of course, this is what his agent is saying. I can't remember his agent's name, but he said he will not go out on loan. Gareth Bale, because I'm looking at ultimately Real Madrid want to get rid of him permanently, but Real Madrid are going to find it extremely difficult to get rid of him permanently. Based on his substantial wages and all that. Because I think all in all, it adds up to around £600 a week that Gareth Bale is currently on. But he's still got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid. But yeah, Bale doesn't actually want to leave of course, but I wouldn't be keen on Manchester United bringing Gareth Bale in. Possibly it could be still part of the deal with Paul Pogba, but Paul Pogba did admit a while back about his dreams of playing for Real Madrid. I think he did say at some point in his career he wants to play for Real Madrid. But like I said, it came out the other week, was it about, I think this was 3 weeks ago now, saying that we was willing to offer Paul Pogba, the captaincy, in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. But like I said, that wouldn't be enough to convince him to remain at the football club. I think the captaincy for next season is going to be given to Ashley Young and all that. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Paul Pogba's agent, Raiola, has been in the process of finding a new club and all that. Has been in the process of finding a new club. But, Paul Pogba was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation last year based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And obviously, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho, of course, left the club. Obviously, Paul Pogba won the Europa League with us, the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in his second season at Manchester United. But last year, he was linked to a lot of transfer speculation, subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. So, Juventus went in for him last year. I think there were also talks about him, going to Barcelona, back in January. But we're seeing glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was their interim manager and all that. And we did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. He exceeded expectation levels and all that. The results were good. The performances were really, really good. Just seems to have all gone on, since he has got the job permanently and all that. But I do believe Paul Pogba probably will be leaving the club. But obviously, Real Madrid are orchestrating something out, to convince us to lower our price tag. Also, Juventus are doing the same. They're doing, the same as Real Madrid, trying to orchestrate something out, to persuade us to lower our price tag. So it is Juventus and Real Madrid, of course, that are battling out for his services. But like I said, we do need a replacement for Pogba, definitely, if he does leave Manchester United. Obviously, there's been quite a few players, we have been in for who could replace him. Obviously, I'd say Bruno Fernandes would be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because obviously, Bruno Fernandes is one of our main priority targets, and we've been in for him now for quite some time. Obviously, quite a few other teams are in there for him. Obviously, a lot of reports came out from Portugal the other week. The Portuguese press saying that Liverpool are in for him. I've just read recent reports saying that Liverpool now are no longer interested in Bruno Fernandes, even though it reported a couple of days ago saying that Liverpool had put a bid in for him of around €45 million. I think Liverpool are actually the first team to put a formal bid in for Bruno Fernandes, and €45 million, I think, equates to around 40 million in pounds sterling or something like that. And so it says Liverpool have been in for Bruno Fernandes. It also came out the other week saying that Tottenham were in for him, but I think now Tottenham have pulled out the race for Bruno Fernandes, because basically, Tottenham were seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso, and obviously, seeing him as a replacement for Christian Eriksen, because Christian Eriksen's linked to a move to Real Madrid, and obviously, if he goes to Real Madrid, Tottenham, of course, are going to want a replacement for him, and obviously, Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer, because they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows and all that. Obviously, the last player they signed was Lucas Moura back in January 2018. Obviously, their record signing is Davinson Sanchez, who they got from Ajax, back in 2017. I think Tottenham paid around £42 million from him and all that. But Bruno Fernandes has been on Tottenham's agenda. Tottenham that could offer him Champions League football. If Bruno Fernandes was to go to Liverpool, which I don't think he's gonna, I think he would fit their system perfectly. Obviously in Liverpool, and that can offer him Champions League football. But I still believe, we're in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. I think also recent reports said that Atletico Madrid have entered the race for him. Obviously, Manchester City, were previously in for him, but obviously, Manchester City now have opted him out of the race. They've withdrawn their interest, as that got confirmed the other week. But we do know mainly it has been Manchester United and City that have been battling out for Bruno Fernandes' services and all that. I think City were only willing to pay up to £47 million for him. I think initially Sporting Lisbon, want at least around £50 million. But it came out the other week saying that, we were preparing to pay up to £70 million for Bruno Fernandes' services. And obviously, this would probably convince Sporting Lisbon to offload him. But, Bruno Fernandes, he's aware of the speculation. He did say to Sporting Lisbon, he would talk, he did say he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving if a team, if a big club comes calling, or if a club comes up with an offer he cannot refuse. He obviously, he said he will leave Sporting Lisbon. But I think, obviously he was talking about saying that, he came out the other week about this and he said, he still watches the Italian football and all that, he follows it because obviously he spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger, the likes of Udinese and Sampdoria and all that. I think Inter Milan have been in there with a shout for Bruno Fernandes, but I think we're in the ascendancy of getting him. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. He's only 24 years of age, so he's very, very young, so he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly. And I think it initially said the other week that we had scheduled a meeting with Sporting Lisbon, to get a deal finalised, of course, for Bruno Fernandes, but I do believe he would be the good adequate replacement for Pogba. Like I said, he can score. He can score goals from that midfield, and that's what we need. Someone who can score goals from that midfield. He scored 31 goals in all competitions last season for Sporting Lisbon. He can also provide goal. He can also provide as well as score goals. So I think he's got all the attributes, to come and succeed in the Premier League. He has been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons. He's done really, really well. He's exceeded expectation levels. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet. But I do presume Bruno Fernandes is going to want to, rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level. So if we are willing to pay up to £70 million for him, then I do think he'll come to Old Trafford. So I'd still say, we're definitely in the ascendancy of getting him, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. So he could be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. There's been a lot of talks about Youri Tielemans going on. Like I said, I haven't read up about him, quite lately about Youri Tielemans. But I do like Youri Tielemans a lot. He's obviously had 5-6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, he had been on loan with Leicester since January. I think he played about 13 games for Leicester during his 6-month loan spell in the Premier League. And I think he scored about 3 goals. But he's a very, very good midfielder. He has now returned to Monaco, but he's not expected. I don't think he's going to be staying at Monaco next season because Youri Tielemans has confirmed he won't be, at Monaco next season, so he will be playing his trade elsewhere. But yeah, he did basically say a lot of reports were affected out last week, saying that we had revived our interest in Youri Tielemans, and it did basically say, we'd been in negotiations with his agent over a possible deal and all that. But recent reports did say what I read now, that we've actually opted out of the race for Youri Tielemans. It does say we have been offered the chance to sign him, but reportedly we have declined the opportunity to complete a deal for him because I think we're looking at getting other deals over the line first and all that. But yeah, he's available for reasonable figure. I think Monaco rate him at around £40 million, so that's reasonable. He's under contract with Monaco until 2022. Leicester, of course, are keen on getting him on a permanent deal, and Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this. I think the Guardian reported the other day saying that Leicester are leading the race for his current services and all that. But yeah, like I said, he was really, really good throughout his loan spell with Leicester. Initially, Monaco got him in 2017 for around, was it £21 million from Anderlecht, because actually he began his career with Anderlecht, and I think Manchester United were tracking him when he was at Anderlecht, but he is only 22 years of age, so obviously we do know he's been on our current agenda. So obviously we could see him as a replacement for Pogba. He's box-to-box midfielder, can also play as an attacking midfielder, but yeah, I think he'd blend in our midfield really, really well with Youri Tielemans. Obviously, Giovanni Lo Celso from Real Betis, that has been a lot of talks about him going on. I think it came out a couple of weeks ago about Giovanni Lo Celso saying that from his own preference, he wants to make the move to Tottenham, because I think Giovanni Lo Celso is one of Tottenham's main priority targets. But he still does say, that Manchester United are in there for Giovanni Lo Celso. I think Real Betis are looking for a bid in the region, are looking for around 70 or 80 million pounds for Giovanni Lo Celso. His initial release clause is around 88 million pounds. Tottenham had lodged a bid in for him last month of around 50 odd million pounds. I think there was also add-ons included, but reportedly, Real Betis had turned this down. Tottenham have been in negotiation with Real Betis over getting a deal concluded for the player and all that. But obviously, I think Real Betis want at least around 70 million pounds for him, of course. So he has been one of Tottenham's main targets. But like I said, it still says Manchester United in there for him. I think last season it was first season for Real Betis last season, and I think he scored like 16 goals in all competitions. Real Betis got him last summer from PSG. For the majority of last season, he was on loan with Real Betis, but obviously, back in April, Real Betis had made the deal permanent by paying around 28 million pounds for his services. So if Real Betis do sell him anywhere, PSG do benefit from it. They do get a percentage of any sale and all that. But yeah, he's on Tottenham's agenda, but he does want to make the move to Tottenham. But I think Manchester United are still in there for him. He's only 23 years of age. I think he's Argentinian. I'm not too sure. Is he primarily a central midfielder? Giovanni Lo Celso. I'm not too sure about that. But do you think he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? But yeah, there's been so many midfielders on our agenda, and I do believe, we need a holding midfield, because I don't think, Matic is good enough. I think, he's far too inconsistent for Manchester United. Is Nemanja Matic, he's too slow, he's aging up and all that, and I do believe he's one of the players that should leave this summer, but we know he's not going to leave Nemanja Matic. Obviously, we had Fellaini, but he's left now. Obviously, we've got McTominay, but he's too inexperienced at the moment, is McTominay, so I do believe we need a holding midfield. And obviously, West Ham's Declan Rice, I think he would be the right solution, because he's primarily a defensive midfielder. He can actually play as a centre-back, and Declan Rice, but I think he's actually primarily a centre defensive midfielder. He's only 20 years of age, well Premier League proven. Initially, I learned his trade in the Premier League. I think it would probably take a bid around 50 or 60 million pounds maybe to convince West Ham to offload him, because I do believe Declan Rice, even if he doesn't leave West Ham this summer, at some point in his career, he's going to want to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level. But he did really, really well, last season under Manuel Pellegrini. Obviously, it was Pellegrini's first season at West Ham last season, but I think Declan Rice flourished. I think he definitely flourished under Manuel Pellegrini's guidance and all that. I think Declan Rice signed a new long-term contract with West Ham back in December, I think of last year, and he's under contract at West Ham until 2024. But he is only 20 years of age. He's been at West Ham a number of years. He's been in their senior squad, quite a few years and all. I think he's also very, very tall, which is very beneficial. Very good in the air, then I presume. Breaks up the play very, very well, very well energetic, and I do believe he'd blend in our midfield, really, really well. And I still believe, Manchester United are in there for him. But yeah, he's well Premier League proven. Obviously, before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea, because he initially began his career with Chelsea, and he was in Chelsea's youth academy, for a number of years. I think he joined their youth academy at the age of 7, but I think he'd been axed off at the age of 14, where Declan Rice. But yeah, he's obviously been on our agenda, so I would like him to come to Manchester United. Obviously, I think there was a lot of talks about Thomas Partey, going on the other week from Atletico Madrid. I haven't heard much news about him, quite recently. He did say quite a few weeks back that Manchester United and Arsenal were interested in him. Reportedly, his father had come out and basically said, that apparently, Thomas Partey, wants to make the move to England and all that. How old is he? He's about 25 years of age. I think he's spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid. So obviously, I think he's a central defensive midfielder. So there has been quite a few on our agenda, but I do believe we actually need one. But like I said, that midfield area is one of the pivotal areas where we do need to strengthen up. Obviously, Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. I think what I read about him the other week, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be coming to Manchester United. Obviously, I think it said the other week we are on the verge of completing around the £25 million deal for him. He's also British and he's only 21 years of age, so it's looking like he's going to be coming in, Sean Longstaff. But yeah, look at all these midfielders, of course, on our agenda. But I'd love us to bring Bruno. I'd love us to get Bruno Fernandes in. I'd also like Yori Tillemans as well. Obviously, James Maddison from Leicester, there was a lot of talks about him, going on about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Obviously, it did say Manchester United were in for him. It did say, Leicester wanted around £60 million for him. And I think at one point, we emerged him as a priority target. But I read recent reports, actually, was it about a couple of weeks ago, saying that, he's aware of the speculation, but I think he wants to remain loyal to Leicester, at least for another season. So I think he actually, wants to stay with Leicester. But he's 22 years of age, James Maddison. He's proven in the Premier League. Obviously, I think it was last season. He's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. I think it was debut season in the Premier League. Last season. Was involved in 14 goals. Created more chances than any other player. Obviously, Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million. Obviously, I think he had a good couple of seasons in the Championship with Norwich. I think quite a few teams have been in for him. I think the likes of City and Tottenham and Liverpool, were tracking James Maddison. Have been tracking James Maddison. Since he was a teenager at Coventry. But he's primarily an attacking midfielder, only 22 years of age. But yeah, it did say Leicester, want around £60 million for him. So Manchester United, of course, were in for him. So we'll probably see James Maddison as a good replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. But yeah, he did begin his career with Coventry. I think he also went on loan with Coventry. I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen, did James Maddison. But he did say, was it about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, that he was on Manchester United's agenda. But yeah, I do probably believe that 3 or 4 players are going to leave the club this summer, maybe 5. I think it's looking like that Darmian's going to be leaving the club because he's enjoyed a difficult time. It's looking like, that Rojo is going to be leaving the club. It's going like Rojo's going to be leaving the club. Sanchez, I'm not too sure about Sanchez. Probably looking like Lukaku's going to be leaving. Probably looking like that Paul Pogba, of course, is going to be leaving. We know Valencia's already left. We know Ander Herrera, of course, has already left. We know Wan-Bissaka's now not leaving because obviously we've agreed him a new 3-year contract, which I'm very surprised about. Agreed him a 3-year contract, which I'm very, very surprised about because I didn't think we'd have offered him a new long-term contract, reflecting on his age, Wan-Bissaka, because he's 31 years of age now. He's Wan-Bissaka. He is 31. I thought, we'd have probably offered him a new 1-year extension or maybe a 2-year extension, but not a long-term contract. But yeah, he's going to be staying at Manchester United. Initially, he's a squad player now anyway, because initially, he doesn't even get in the team, Wan-Bissaka. But I'm glad actually, to be quite fair, in my opinion, because I like him a lot. He's been very consistent for Manchester United. He has been here 5 years and all that. Obviously, he's won the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Europa League with us. Obviously, the FA Cup, obviously, was under Louis van Gaal. He won with us. Obviously, the Europa League and the League Cup was obviously, in Jose Mourinho's first season and all that. So that's what he's basically, won with Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka. But he scored 45 goals in 218 games for us in all competitions. But at one point, he was looking very imminent. He was actually, going to be leaving Manchester United. Obviously, I think Newcastle had inquired about his services. Also, Barcelona were in talks of getting him on a free transfer, and I think his current deal is set to expire at the end of this month. But yeah, I'm very surprised, that we've give Wan-Bissaka a new long-term contract. But that's been a problem, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, Rashford's in the final year of his deal, but I do believe we'll end up, giving, we'll get Marcus Rashford a contract term extension because we have been in talks for quite a while of getting Marcus Rashford a new contract. With De Gea, like I said yesterday, I think now it's looking very likely that he will be at Manchester United next season, even though it has been looking very likely that he's set to leave Manchester United, of course, because PSG have been in there for him. But recent reports have said now that PSG have opted out of the race because PSG have got showing they've turned their attentions more on Donnarumma for AC Milan. Maybe they think Donnarumma is a better solution because obviously Donnarumma is only 20 years of age and all that. So now it says PSG are in there for him. Initially, David De Gea was linked with a £60 million move to PSG. Like I said, we could still risk losing him on a free next year. If we don't get David De Gea a new contract. But, we have been, in at least in the last 18, 19 months, trying, we've been, at least in the last 18, 19 months, we have been in the process of trying to get David De Gea a new contract. But obviously, we haven't done that because De Gea wants around, £350,000 a week for Manchester United. Reportedly, we're not willing to meet his wage demands. Obviously, and his current deal at the moment is on £200,000 a week and all that. So basically, De Gea wants to be the highest paid player at the club alongside Alexis Sanchez. but he has been a long servant here. He has been here 8 years. He has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. I think he's kept about 100 Premier League clean sheets. Obviously, has won everything here domestically and all that. But I said, if we don't come to the agreement to get him a new contract, we need to cash in for De Gea this summer. Real Madrid, obviously, I've been long admirers of him, but I don't see, him going to Real Madrid if he does leave. I don't see him, going out to Real Madrid, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him in 2015, but due to the fax machine, the deal never materialised. I think it also said that Juventus have been never De Gea, but he hasn't really done much wrong in his 8-year period. De Gea, I know he was making costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. But he's been a great servant. He's been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we got him from Atletico Madrid for around £17 million back in 2000. I think it was around £17 million back in 2011. But we're now imperative, David De Gea is, and I want him to sign a new contract. I don't think it's initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace De Gea. If he does actually, leave the club, he did say he was willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. Like I said, I don't think he's reliable enough yet to come our number one goalkeeper. So I have got reservations about this, and I've got reservations about that. And obviously Dean Henderson, like I said, he's too inexperienced at the moment. So if De Gea does leave, I think we need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him. And yeah, that's mainly everything to update today. But yeah, the main part of this video was to give you the latest news of what I was reading up yesterday. It says, this is coming from Andy Goldstein, who's a presenter of TalkSport. He says Manchester United are interested in signing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Arsenal. This is what basically said. And now reportedly we are preparing an audacious move for Aubameyang. And it said reportedly we are preparing to pay up to £70 million for him. He is 30 years of age, but I do like him. Like I said, I've always liked him, especially in his Dortmund days and all that. I think Arsenal paid they paid a record fee for him of £56 million in January of last year. But last season did really well. He can score goals and all that. He 36 games last season in the Premier League. Scored 22 goals. Aubameyang. So I do really like him. But good in the air. His finishing good. His finishing's good. He's got that endless potential. Very good on and off the ball. But probably vast majority of Manchester United fans wouldn't like to see him come in now because obviously he's 30 years of age and all that, and there's probably better solutions out there than Aubameyang. But he could still possibly stay at Arsenal. He could sign a new contract, or if he doesn't stay at Arsenal, I think he'll probably end up making the move to China, to be quite honest, because he has been linked to move to China. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider a subscriber, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.